You are watching The Dawn Show. We are live and we are local, and two people here who have the cure for the latest disorder. It's a nature deficit disorder. Is that what the latest? Mike and Camille, our friends from the Schuylkill Center for Environmental Education. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
I know you love your job.
Right.
You know, because you are part of a place that is really one of a kind in the nation. Privately owned, more than 300 acres, a nonprofit that helps people, kids, people of all ages, and nature become one and have a better understanding.
And we're in the city limits of Philadelphia, which is which surprises people. You go down a half-mile gravel driveway to get to the Nature Center building, which is in the middle of our big property. So it's this huge sweep of land, and we're still in Philadelphia. So one of the first urban nature centers in a city. Yeah, nature deficit disorder is this new phrase that nature centers and environmental people have been using. Kids are increasingly disconnected from not just nature, but the outdoors, being outside. There's a book that has come out on this called Last Child in the Woods, came out a few years ago, and he quoted a kid, fourth grader in California, who said he stays inside because that's where the plugs are. So kids are plugged in. Yeah. So there's just all this tantalizing technology inside. So back in the day, my generation, we would grow up, we would just say, bye mom, we were outside, and we were outside. Because the adults lived inside, and we didn't want to be inside with the adults, we were out.
Right.
Kids today are increasingly inside, and so what this writer, Richard Louv, was talking about was what he thinks are the emotional, even intellectual costs of kids of retreating from the outdoors and being inside all the time. So he says there's actually health and emotional costs to kids being disconnected from the outdoors.
So what is cured by being outside? I mean, what is the cure? What is that energy connection?
That's a great question. Well, there's actually this famous hospital study where they looked at these two sets of patients. One looked out a window and saw a tree. The others looked out a window and saw a brick wall. And the patients, and they tried to make sure that was the only difference between the two sets of patients. The ones who saw the tree, just seeing the tree, they got better faster and didn't come back to the hospital for a longer period of time. So there was this healing component to nature. And nature, always calms people down. When you go outside, when people are stressed out, just a walk in the forest actually is really helpful to all of us. But there's all these incredible studies. Kids learning outside test better when they've learned it outside.
Kids with learning disabilities?
Oh my gosh, yeah, a little bit. ADHD is hugely impacted by being outdoors. It's calming. Kids, boys and girls play differently in like a forest than they do on a playground even, because in a playground there's set rules, and playing outside in a forest there's no rules, so sort of boy-girl stuff breaks down. So there's just all these incredible benefits to being outside.
See, so one more excuse to get to the Schuylkill Center.
Right.
So tell me about the programs, and I know you have a whole lot of them that are going on every day. Yeah. At the center.
Well, Camilla mentioned a few that we actually have set up trying to address this nature deficit disorder. So, Monkey Tail Gang, for example.
Yeah, Monkey Tail Gang, our after-school program, that's a really important counteractive measure that we take, because we get these students that have been cooped up all day long, having a regimented learning style, moving from place to place to place in this modular way, and suddenly they get to come into the forest and they get a chance to be sort of free. And so you can see the impacts immediately. My own daughter goes to the Monkey Tail Gang program, and even though she has been coming to Schuylkill Center programs for years, I have to negotiate with her every day. All right, it's 5 o'clock, it's time to go. Oh, 5 more minutes, please, 10 more minutes. And so the impact is just, immense. So we have that program. We also have, so that's our everyday after school program. We also offer our day off camps. So it's like our summer camp experience, and but it happens on days like Columbus Day or an election day, which is coming up very soon. We'll be having a day off camp. So it's a place where you can send your children. They can spend the day immersed in nature, creating good social bonds with each other, and also having a little fun and learning at the same time. So those are some of the initiatives that we have to address nature deficit.
And our preschool is brand new. So this is the first year of our preschool. So we call it Nature Preschool, and the 3, 4s, and 5s are outside for a portion of the school day every day during the whole year. They go outside in the rain. Just put your boots on, you know, so they go outside in the winter.
Which is such a great stimulation for small children.
Totally. So these are some of the things that we're doing to try to sort of reconnect kids with nature. And it's not like the old-fashioned regimented nature walk, stay in line behind me, this is this tree. Here's an oak tree, here's the 10 animals. It's just, we're going to go outside and be and just play. So Monkey Tail, the kids are just hanging out after school for 2 or 3 hours. And we hope that the impacts of that are great for the kids.
What about free Saturdays? What's that all about?
So every Saturday we offer a family hike or a family story, and that happens at 10:30 on Saturdays. So it's absolutely free and open to the public, and just another way that we're looking to engage all of our neighbors and our community members into getting into the outdoors.
And you also have programs, I know for my boys, they go with school groups and they do plantings.
Yep.
So they'll plant flowers, they'll plant crops, so because there's also some farmland, so they learn about planting seeds.
Yeah, you know, in order to have this great, you know, nature classroom, and in order to preserve our forests, we do have to do some work. And so it's great to get volunteers and to get students to come out to restore nature. Just like we get restored when we're in nature, sometimes nature needs our help. So there are a lot of invasive plants that are sort of taking away the space and the food and the nutrients from the plants that have historically been here in the Northeast. So we do a lot of work to restore that back to
We do a monthly restoration work day. So just last
And you're always
weekend.
looking for people to volunteer, right?
All the time.
Always.
Yeah.
So
And why don't you pick the poison ivy? I just got to ask you.
Well, we try not to pick the poison ivy so we don't get it, but we
do
trim the poison ivy back from the trails that people are using. But you know, everything has a purpose in nature, and so the poison ivy, it might be irritating to us, but it's good food for the birds, and I love to hear the birds, so
it
we
has
leave
white
it there.
berries in the fall, and birds love. Plus, poison ivy turns the most wonderful color red in the autumn. It's my favorite fall color. Poison ivy, go figure. Actually, poison ivy has these hairy vines that look like monkey tails. So the monkey tail guy is actually named after poison ivy.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's hysterical.
Right.
We're going to talk more about the rehab center and all of the animals that come to the center and find healing when we come right back.